the draft. Because to me, I think so much of TSM's success has been decided by the pick and ban. I think that they have, defaulted to some pretty poor strategies for their strengths. And I think that top lane has been pretty exploitable throughout MSI. I want to see TSM drafting to their strengths. Give the picks to Hanser.
Will Hanser be good on anything other than Kennen and Rumble? Kennen's already been banned out, and we got to see what happens next.
Also, is 957 going to pick a horrible Jace matchup against Dumpster, leaving Team WE also with a tankless composition? Because that is how TSM exploited that matchup last time. So that's definitely something we need to keep an eye on.
It is. I mean, you can see both teams with a lot of focus here on top lane. The Ivern obviously has been taken away. Svenskaren's other preference would be Lee Sin. We'll see if TSM is willing to give that over to Condi.
I would almost want to see like a range support ban here by TSM. And then they can trade one range support for the Lee Sin. Get that one. The problem is they have been playing Braum kind of only, and they don't really want to buy into that range support meta.
Karma and Lulu available. Ivan was banned away, so it looks like they're going to steal the Lee Sin from Sven.
And I mean, the one problem with this for TSM is they're not a team that really wants to play double shielding support.
Yes,
and Shie will play one of the others. So, if you take Lulu and you don't take Karma, you could see Shie pick up that Karma for bot lane or for mid lane.
Now they have to steal the Lulu away, not because it's a great champion, but because otherwise W is doing exactly what you just said, Azale. They run double shields, aggressive jungler to kind of match that in the early game, and they'll just play entirely around Mystic. That is a strategy TSM have tried once around Wild Turtle, but it didn't work. Not because, in my opinion, Wild Turtle was the problem. It was actually in that game that Hanser and Svenskeren were dropping the ball.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But that said, I don't think it's playing to TSM's strengths to run those sorts of compositions. So I would prefer to see, more solo lane focused game.
And to get that, you can also just focus on getting mid-prio somehow. It's quite hard into the Karma flex though. That would mean you'd have to pick maybe Talia on the side of Bjergsen, then double ban some strong matchups against it, forcing that you can always push mid, and then you counter pick your top lane as last. I think that would actually be a decent big ban.
And Talia, that's the run back from their original series. It was Talia for Bjergsen versus Shie on that Karma, and Bjergsen was able to have so many strong Weaver's walls, not even about the roams necessarily, but about cutting people off and creating opportunities for the team.
All right, let's find out what TSM decides to opt into. We're about to jump into phase 2 here. It was the Karma Caitlyn locked in, and then we can see which role Team WE and TSM will squeeze respectively.
And if you have to early pick, Caitlyn actually pairs well with Karma, because if you lose her as a flex pick to the mid lane, you're forced to pick a remaining melee support. Caitlyn farms quite adequately 1v2 in the lane, meaning that you can still kind of make do with that. Sometimes you have a Karma flex pick, but due to the nature of bot lane matchups, you're kind of forced to have her locked in bot lane, otherwise you lose the lane too hard.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I am expecting now TSM to focus bans to squeeze out one of the roles, which will then first pick in the second round of picks, then leave their other solo lane pick for the counter pick, and thus trying to get advantage in both of the solo lanes.
And then you can see, what do you have to pick still? Mid and top lane, and because the enemy has a flex pick mid, I don't think it makes any sense to squeeze mid. So yeah, definitely plays into their strength playing around Hanser. Just squeeze the top lane, get him a favorable matchup.
Well, top lane continues to be the focus here. Fiora, Rumble taken off the table, so a lot of tanks still up and available. Kennen was removed, Kled, Shen was removed, so...
Fizz is still a big player in the top lane right now that we need to watch for. Obviously more of a counter pick rather than just a blind pick.
And we have to remember that Bjergsen can flex that to mid, so TSM could pick that up in this next pick if they want to go for it, and leave WE without the confidence to know where it's going.
Yeah, that could be the blocker to the Syndra potentially.
Alright, one game played for Hanser on that Fizz. Has played it already here. MSI. Malzahar was the next ban for TSM.
Yeah, because Shie has a history of playing the Karma in the mid lane, and obviously that leaves Malzahar as a decent support. Also, just instantaneous engage there, quite strong in the bottom lane of the game.
And I don't really like the champion, but it's a strong pick for Ben because it is something that he is very comfortable on, and I think it's also something that warps your gameplay so much that TSM is willing to throw a ban at it to not have to build all these QSSs.
I think WE wants to play LeBlanc now, because they say, you know what? LeBlanc's ban. They would want to play LeBlanc with its ban right now, because that usually with the Nami ban, it tells them, we don't want you to flex this Lulu to mid lane, but flexing Lulu to mid only kind of happens with LeBlanc. So I'm actually quite confused why they ban out the Nami.
Alright, can Hanser lock in the Galio? I love shoutcasting this champion. Has not played that once this year, and as the timer runs down, there's your top laner.
And I do think this makes sense in the context of this draft, because if you look at what are the top laners that are probably pretty high priority left over for 957, it's something like Nautilus, it's something like Gragas. Both of those are dealt with very easily by Galio. He can push in, he loves itemizing towards MR early on, but the Fizz may be a problem.
One game played, Talia was a potential pick for Bjergsen early in the draft. Now that it's locked in for Shia, where does TSM go? Will he take the Lulu, or will he pivot and pick something else?
I think they need damage in this draft.
They definitely need to pivot. I don't think picking Lulu mid here is the right choice.
I would be really surprised. I think the TSM's comp would be pretty low on damage, on consistent damage in a fight. If you do go Lulu mid, you're relying so much on Wild Turtle. This is essentially just a protect the turtle type composition once again, which is where they fell short before.
Also, what else would you play in the bottom lane? Lulu is actually fine in dealing with the relentless push from Ash and Kaylin right there. Lulu Karma can do, Lulu Ashwater can do just fine. Maybe lose slightly, and they can just give Bjergsen his favorite pick.
So one cool thing about Ryze and Galio is this is a way into the backline for the Galio. You can actually set up that Realm Warp. Galio hops in, starts channeling his taunt. You pop out and you can drop that taunt off pretty much immediately. So that is some backline access, some disruption, and an added way in for Galio.
It's going to be difficult to catch a Lisa and a Fizz and a Talia, who have a fair amount of mobility as well, but let's find out what TSM can do. They've got that traditional tank. They've got some grouping power in this 5-man squad.
Yeah, was he Svenskeren on Kha'Zix? He failed against SKT because he lost his flash early on and then still went for familiar gank patterns that left him flashless and obviously with no escape. He does have the opportunity to gank both top and mid lane because both these laners bring their own crowd control effects to the table. That is absolutely necessary if you want to get those ganks off early with Kha'Zix.
How good is TSM at shutting down the 1-3-1 setup that could be put into play by WE with Fizz and Talia in respective side lanes?
I mean, it's something that I think you can answer with the Ryze somewhat, and Galio can definitely hang on. I don't think that he's an easy champion to actually dive, but they will probably lose pressure as the game goes on.
Yeah, lane-to-lane mobility has been a strategy like in the last year, you know, with Tahm Kench and Ryze compositions. Galio Ryze compositions do something similar too, especially if you put the core unit, the 3-man in the center. Ryze can always join from top to mid, Galio can join from bottom mid. However, the last time TSM played 1-3-1, they were having issues getting Hanser to the fights at the right time or getting the 4-man squad to play passive, waiting for Hanser to get pressure. So that's something they hopefully have refined for this game.
Well, let's see how much pressure Hanser can apply as we load up for the last game here of day 3. It's Team WE from the LPL taking on Team Solo Mid from the North American LCS to set the scene once more. 2 wins and 3 losses. The first stage of the round robin is wrapped, and we are starting the back half. A win here will tie you up with G2 in that 3rd, 4th spot, and a loss will put you down in 5th, 6th. So there is a lot on the line at the end of day 3.
And you can definitely tell who has the courage and the confidence in the AD carry matchup when you look at the items. If you're a confident AD carry, you go Dorn's Potion. If you're not sure, you may eat a lot of poke, may misstep sometimes, you go Longsword 3 pots. Both starts are definitely viable. Sven, for example, will always go Dorns, even in Blade of the Ruined King rush matchups.
Well, Sven definitely one of the more confident AD carries playing here at MSI.
And I think rightfully so. I mean, he's shown that he deserves to have the confidence from his team to rely on him in late game.
If I remember correctly, was it G2 against SKT, when G2 were unable to break the wave clear? Wave clear on the side lane.
I mean, they were unable to land arrows.
That too.
That was the core component.
That too. This time around, Wild Turtle's got the arrow.
And they were unable to kill Faker despite him being leveled down.
Let's see how Team WE handle this Galio pick. Remember, LPL, one of the only leagues that was able to play with Galio throughout playoffs and in their regional final.
And Galio is actually one of the best leashes from top lane. With Kha'Zix starting W plus the Q, you essentially instant clear those little wraiths, so you're able to get a very fast start.
It's actually to the point where I play with some Galios and the mid laner's like, shall I leash? He's like, no. His jungler instantly panics, you're not stealing my Raptors. Galio puts them on 20%, I do not need any additional help. I like my experience. Yeah, this should be a power clear for Svenskeren.
What can he do with the clear? In the previous game, we've seen the impact. Condi's going to potentially set up for an invade here.
So that speed's really important because Svenskeren is doing a standard 2 camps one side and then crossover. The Condi's going in. He is, however, spotted.
He is spotted, but the TSM bot lane is shoved in, mid lane is shoved in, so they can't really respond, and Svenskeren has to go for a trade.
Yeah, this is something where starting locations are really important to place between pushing lanes. WE is doing the right thing. They're abusing their pushing bot lane matchup. However, because of the preemptive ward from TSM, they're completely fine reacting to this. Also, Svenskeren is now covered by a pushing top lane. So often he goes in for an invade and dies. That is if his top lane is not pushing. He has, however, in the past lingered too long here, went for Wolves, and ended up paying the price.
It's also pretty smart to actually pull this all the way back, because you can see that that ward being dropped does not give Xie any information other than the blue is already gone. He doesn't really know the timing on when it was taken exactly.
Now look at the pathing from Sven. He actually managed to avoid that ward entirely by hugging the wall. Condi's going to decide to back away, most likely for the Scuttle Crab. And I'm looking at the lanes. Haunts are pushing very heavily, knowing how close Svenskeren is to this top quadrant.
And Condi, now knowing that Svenskeren is over there, is trying to take away more of his enemy's jungle so that they can come out even or ahead. Because if Kha'Zix takes away all your camps and you only take the blue then retreat, you end up behind an experience behind on gold.
And if you ever miss sight of the jungle, just look at which lane the mid laner is leaning towards. Talia has been leaning right in the lane space the entire time. Bjergsen slightly to the left. They obviously respect that the enemy jungler is going to be on the other side most likely, so if they ever get ganked, they're on the other side of the lane.
Yeah, perceiving information from what you can see from your enemies. Taking a look down as Svenskeren is going to move into his quadrant of the jungle and find it all cleared out. Bifrost running through some of those shields and mana. Been shoved under the tower by Caitlyn and Karma. Somewhat expected in the opening levels, I feel.
But they're playing their role right now.
Yeah, and I think that they just have to kind of absorb the pressure. They are more of that lane that is going to play the utility focus. They have utility-focused AD carry as well as support. And I think that as long as they're playing safe and going even, that is pretty much according to plan for TSM.
Yeah, and it's also Mystic. Despite being like a super strong AD carry, he's running Warlords, not Fervor here on his Caitlyn, so he's not looking to scale. Really looking for that lane dominance with the Warlords Wellest.
Well, we've talked a lot about the bottom 4 members of the map. We've not really touched on 957 or Haunter. Haunter just keeps shoving 957 in. He's farming up relatively well with that Corrupting Potion. This is why we haven't spoken about the top laners. Wild Turtle again takes a Mantra Q from Ben and is just shoved under tower.
So one thing I'm looking for here is the triple Dorans, and that is the buy that Haunter's going to go for. With this triple Dorans, one Q can actually kill the backline, and you can really start to accelerate your pushing power. You also can harass the Fizz pretty well under that turret, and Galio plus Kha'Zix is a pretty powerful diving combo, so they are going to have to be wary of that.
Yeah, that's why 957 is looking for sustenance here. Going for an ultra defensive build, no rush here. Only any offensive items, no magic plus Dark Seal, Corrupting Potion. It's about as sustained as you can be on the early gold rather.
Well, looking at this top lane, 957's already teleported back to lane. Haunter with the pushing lane has actually used that to his advantage and saved the TP. Also getting closer to level 6 in that heroic entrance.
Yeah, both junglers in kind of counter gank position here. GA trying to lure in Bjergsen respecting the midway point. Pretty clean play from both sides. Honestly, standard as well. We're looking for something to break the mold here.
Sven sees Condi here.
All right, a lot of damage down. Tastes Condi's fear. No ultimates yet. Condi's also got a level advantage. Leap forward. Flash out from Bjergsen. Gets the Rune Prison. And the first
coming over too.
Look at the seismic shove and the unraveled earth. Xia gets a reply back for Team WE. This is getting messy. So far, it's a 2-for-1. Haunter with a TP advantage. He gets a Justice Punch to Mystic's face in the back end. Ben is running low on mana. He's already flashed in. So is Bjergsen. There's no more mana for an overload. Looking for those autos. A big shield from Ben. Just enough to escape under the tower. And TSM get a 3-for-1.
Yeah, hubris and an error in communication from Team WE. You pointed out earlier, Hanzer at teleports still available, yet their aggressive movement of the jungle on the other side is unwarranted. Condi cannot afford to make this move, while TSM can collapse with multiple members and teleport down.
You face check the Kha'Zix, you're going to pay the price, and Bjergsen and the rest of TSM so fast on this move, and the pushing advantage that netted Haunter, that summoner spell, is able to come up so big for TSM, especially getting the kills onto both Turtle and Bjergsen, 2 of the big damage dealers for TSM.
Yeah, and also really good CC layering right now. Haunter under pressure. Damage.
Let's see, Idol of Duran buys some time, but the Troll Pole gets 957 out safety.
Yeah, it was really well timed. Exhaust earlier in that skirmish from Bifrost as well. Chained into the taunt, really leaving Mystic without any answer. 957 looking to capitalize. Remember, he built defensively earlier on. He didn't rush any Sheen or any burst items.
Now, one thing I would like to see here now is Svenskeren moving topside, trying to cover that wave, because he has the support from Galio with that hero's entrance. So he can play a little bit more confident than you otherwise would normally be able to do. So TSM should be looking to move around here, but with Ryzen base, it is a bit risky. All
right, Svenskeren was stood right on top of a ward. There's no chum waters available to 957. Red buff secured out by Condi. So they'll be able to walk out to safety. So they get the buff steal at the very least. The wave denied up in the top lane, and Hornsa loses a little bit of CS, but he gets an assist to his name.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good move from WE to make the best of a bad situation, right? Yes, they lost the fight, and that is pretty bad for the bottom side, but you can at least get some CS and experience over onto 957, who is supposed to be a split push threat and needs to get an edge in that matchup.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to bounce back from that ridiculous amount of activity in the previous game. This time around, TSM and WE, a slower pace, respecting the ability to, level up, and Condi, with the support of Shia, steals another buff.
They steal the buff, and they wanted to get back to their side of the map really quick, because Hanser is looking for the reactionary play. If Shia can get the blue buff and push in Bjergsen, who will not have one of his own, that can lead to the 4-man dive party, because bot lane is still consistently pushing in.
They are, and they are up, a little bit in farm, but so far so good. You also do have to worry a little bit about this Ashe initiation, because the rotations can come down with the Ryze ultimate, and you can set that up pretty well with the Ashe.
You can actually mess with the Taliyah. If the wall comes out, you can walk towards it as wall turtle, and then
here they go.
He's going early.
All right, where is Bjergsen? He's trying to come into the Realm Warp. Ben may be dead already. Realm Warp's going to deliver Bjergsen into the bottom lane, and he gets the kill secured. Mystic Rune prisoned up, but there's not enough damage. Team WE want to reply. They close the door on Wild Turtle, Bjergsen, and Biofrost. There's a little bit of support coming in from Svenskeren behind the wall, but Team WE, they can't find the CC or the damage.
Yeah, and they have the safety with Kha'Zix there, who can jump in on anyone who moves forward. So TSM covered that play very well. As I said, you have the Realm Warp to come in, so when you're pushing, you expose yourself to that attack, and they were not covered for that play.
And this was also a reaction on the blue steal, because Shia left the lane to steal the blue buff. Bjergsen got the push, and if you get the push, you can leave. So they're actually first to roam bottom, despite losing their blue buff.
All right, 957 going very forward onto Hornsa. Chum the Water's still available. Urchin Strike comes out.
And the W2 for a massive damage.
Shark, and 957 with a great solo kill.
Yeah, once that mark is hovering over a target and you reapply W and it's fully stacked, you need to press the W one more time for like a 20%, 25% chunk. If you pair that with ulti, you can really surprise people with the damage output.
And that honestly is pretty scary for TSM when you take into consideration Ignite was not even used. No damage had really been purchased yet for 957. So, I mean, that's pretty scary for Hanser. If you're pushing in and that's your advantage, but you can get all in, you're setting yourself up for failure.
TSM is playing around the bot side, but in champs, like we were vehemently talking about how the strength of TSM has been a winning top lane matchup. They get a pushing matchup early on with the Galio, but now with that kill, 957 is back in the game. He has unlocked himself being a split pusher as a win condition for Team WE.
And another critical thing in this matchup is you essentially have two forms of CC. You have your punch and you have your taunt. Fizz can avoid one with that troll pole, but you have to hit one or the other. He missed the E, which allows you to Playful Trickster on the taunt, and you can get out scot-free.
That means that 957 is the advantage. Got the Sheen picked up, got himself that Spectre's Cowl. A little bit of MR to deal with both Hornsa and Bjergsen. And we're at an even game, 600-700 gold at 10 minutes. It's not a lot to speak of, because you can see 957's got the advantage top, Bjergsen's got the advantage mid, but then all of a sudden, Mystic is also marginally ahead of Wild Turtle down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, but Turtle picked up lifesteal as well, so he can just stay sustained in this lane. Also level 6, Karma doesn't even get too much, right?
Yeah.
There's a rule that always have the wild go. So this matchup is just going to even out CS for CS. It's more about the timings and the cadence of the pushes. If they can move somebody away from that lane, add him somewhere else and create an advantage.
I mean, WE is definitely looking to cash in on the pressure they've had. If you have lane pressure all this time in the bot lane and you don't kill the turret, you don't really get rewarded for that. So they're trying to push it in and finish that off.
That's great to see. More respect being given here by the two respective teams. WE and yet another invade, but this time Svenskeren jumps onto Ben. Sven's immediately exhausted, and Condi follows through the resonating strike, gets the first kill. A heroic entrance. Hornsa lands on Bjergsen, gives him the damage reduction, but Biofrost is being chunked down by 957. Chum the Water's going to be negated by the wild growth. It doesn't matter. 957 gets another kill. Team WE even it up, and escape with the ultimate for Bjergsen. Ace in the hole, not going to kill Hornsa yet. Condi's looking for the Sonic Wave, misses the shot.
And Wild Turtle is nowhere to be found. He only just entered this fight. This was a complete collapse on the bottom side. As Zale pointed out, the turret was low. WE was 3-man rotating to make a pressure play on the turret. TSM sees this, knows this, willingly commit to the fight, and end up losing.
I mean, that's the biggest point. They chose that fight. Svenskeren jumps in with his 80 carry in base without his teammates in position, and now you're in a world where 957 picks up 2 more kills, is up 2 levels on Hanser, and TSM is in so much trouble.
Yeah, because if you look at the cooldowns, Bifrost has really short cooldowns on Exhausted Flash, meaning he's the one most prone to getting caught here, yet Sven jumps in. I love the instantaneous reaction from WE though. Condi, really the spearhead of this play.
And where's the damage for TSM in this fight, right? You need your AD carry around because no one is going to be able to finish these players off. They're building MR, Ryze can't do it, Galio can't do it. You need the Ashe in position, and TSM's comp falls apart in a situation like this.
Yeah, when everybody's choosing these individual partners, you know, mano a mano, 1v1, then Mystic is just completely untouched and he doesn't drop. He continues to put damage on them too. CA forces another flash. It's almost too easy for WE here.
They just make it look so good. Team WE take the lead at 13 minutes, 1,500 gold, 3 kills now for 957. That is not a champion you want to get fed.
No, and the problem with it as well is if you don't have mixed damage solo laners, you can't challenge the Fizz.
Yeah.
Because he can just itemize just magic resistance. He's going in again.
All right, Bjergsen's gonna get caught out. Chum the whoa! He just got eaten alive, sent back to the void.
Yeah, I mean, you get the knock up from the fish, sets up for the seismic shove from Talia. Easy combo for them to pull off, and they're pushing turrets on top side. They're getting so much, they're going to be able to continue that push.
Yeah, they're getting a kill in the mid lane, additional mid lane turret here. They're splitting the map evenly, but even tier 2 will get sieged upon. Xie could even rotate and get the zoning weaver as well. That flash that Bjergsen lost in the earlier skirmish got punished ultra hard here.
Now remember, earlier today, Team Solo Mid took down G2 in a very dramatic game. They went 50+ minutes. Team WE, however, they lost to the Marines.
There's nothing wrong with losing against the
in a
Marines.
fairly one-sided game. But the mentality shift to come back into it, Team WE, they've just completely shored up their early game, and they've read TSM like a book in the last 5 minutes.
Well, when you look at the success from TSM, both games they won were Hauntzer dominating the top lane. It was Kennen against WE. It was the really fed Rumble against G2, and without that side lane pressure, so much pressure comes down to, I think, a more kind of complicated game plan for TSM. They seem to fall short when there's so much going on.
I mean, let's take a look at 957. 2 magic resistance items finished. He's sitting on the Spirit Visage, he has a Sheen ready, and now he can start itemizing more efficiently, but he's so relevant in the game still that his base damages are enough combined with the Ignite to take anybody down, really.
Well, Dragon was secured, but that's a small solace for TSM. 1 tower to 3, 4,000 gold, roughly, or 3.5 at this stage.
Yeah.
And Team W are completely online. Of course, they can start to play this 1-3-1 if they want to, in the not too distant future.
They're actually going for a 1-1-3 here, it seems. Mostly because Xie wants a blue buff before he moves to a side lane. Also, you can play when you're this far ahead. Generally, you don't play 1-1-3 because you will get punished somewhere else, but Xie can always join any other side. You know, he can go really fast from mid to top or from mid to bot. And this way, TSM will need to defend the bot lane tier 2 turret pretty soon because that seems to be the target for WE.
I'm looking at the minimap and I see Team WE still quite split up, trying to redefine their lane assignments, but look at the amount of warding. Team W had about 4 wards in that top quadrant of TSM jungle and pushing fairly safely here. No reply from TSM.
Yeah, and moving the vision down to TSM's blue side, like Mitch said, it's saying they want to go for this turret. One thing Galio does have, though, from behind as a tank is pretty good wave clear, and pretty safe wave clear, because he does have that ranged Q to toss out. That said, you know, this is a kind of a team fight composition for TSM, so you have to feel like to get back to this game, they need to get some sort of a fight.
They need to get him on the run, and maybe they can use that teleport ward in the bottom lane that's being placed right, that control ward. I see Trevor, like, waving his fist in the air. You too saw that ward, right, Trev?
I did indeed. Condi's been caught up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and Biofrost Wild Growth will not find a target to knock up. TSM.
Beautiful.
Now they're going to get closed off from the mid inner.
Yeah, you lure him to the bot lane, but it's a trap because 957 is setting up the secondary wave. WE is constantly playing on at least 2 lanes. That is the main mistake teams have made at this tournament when they play 1-3-1, is that they make the map too tiny.
They have it. Heroic entrance comes down by some time for Sven to escape. Not before he's burned alive. Wild Turtle's forced to flash and heal his way to safety. WE get the tower and a kill.
Shige played that fight so well, forcing Turtle out from the side. He finds the angle, hits all of his shards onto Turtle, and Turtle just has to blow both summoners and get out.
This pressure here, WE, I love the way they found a way to get 957 back into the game. You know, Hauntzer got the teleport advantage, got the TP back down. He got a few kills and assists, and it all looked really good for TSM snowballing, but they couldn't capitalize off this bot lane pressure.
And this was the Team WE that we come to expect from the LPL. When they get a lead, they know how to snowball it ahead and accelerate it very, very quickly.
You kind of have to wonder, though, what is Svenskeren thinking? Walking up to that turret that has less than 10% HP into melee range, gets fished. I mean, this is not something you can defend, and we see these players making these kind of mistakes throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, these players, and Svenskeren in particular, making it 5 out of his 6 games, maybe you could, even question it. What was he thinking? 0-3-1 on this Kha'Zix. Decent start.
Probably was thinking he could defend the turret. Was wrong, though.
Well, you know what Thought did?
Yeah.
Got you killed by Team WE.
So you never think, you just do.
React.
Do or not, there is no think, right?
Yeah, that's right, Yoda. 957 doesn't find a target with Chum the Waters. Another buff stolen away. Team WE have had control of TSM's jungle for the majority of this game.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're going to go for the same pattern here. Put the Caitlyn top with the support of the team, force TSM to walk top lane, and then pivot back to mid lane, zoning with the Weaver's Wall, and get the second mid lane turret right there.
And I certainly think they can. I mean, they have so much more pressure than TSM right now, and Turtle a little bit wide on that arrow. Just look at the experience advantage. Like, that is somewhat problematic. When you look at AD carries, when you look at top laners, experience means so much in League of Legends, and WE is controlling the map, they're farming the jungle camps, they're having better wave control, and they're getting edges everywhere.
Can we talk about the arrow, though?
What would you like to talk about?
I don't know, what was that? I have another color here, I don't know what
it was wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I looked at the minimap, I thought maybe Realm War?
Yeah, okay, no,
but
I accept that, actually.
But it was optimistic, I think, which is ironic, because it was onto Mystic. But
not onto Mystic.
Did not hit Mystic, and that means he survives. I'm looking at the items really quickly, as is my prerogative. Infinity Edge almost completed for Mystic. Abyssal Scepter Haunting. Guys, for Shia, getting closer to Trinity Force for 957. He's already terrifying, and that's just going to be another switch.
And I think the item completions for Caitlyn is such an important thing to point out, because Caitlyn is supposed to be this weak champion in the mid game before you get your 2-3 items, and Ashe is supposed to be the kind of time that you're dominating now. With the Blade of the Rune King completed, you're very strong, and they haven't been able to really get anything done.
Well, they haven't. 957, however, has 3-0 and 2 of his team's kills. The inner turret in the bottom lane is the focus here for WE.
You have to always, if you're TSM fan, this is what you want to see. You want to see them grouping. Even though they have a lot of poke, this is where WE is the weakest. When they're all on the same lane and nobody is prepping the secondary lane to rotate to.
Well, Team WE was so good earlier. They simply have very few objectives left to steal here from Team WE.
That was really nice from Bjergsen. As soon as he hears the Weaver's Wall being cast with that global sound, he gets out of there immediately. You can't wait till you already see him or you'll be stopped.
Yeah, there was a few nice map moves by TSM. Mystic has their flash right now. That was not an optimistic arrow. That was actually a great one. We saw also earlier Svenskeren hiding in the bush, trying to attack 957, ganging up with Hanser on him to attack the side lane. So TSM attacked the side lane, forced W to group, then dragged them back to the other lane, forced some ultis and used Realm War to disengage, and now got a major flash. For the last 2 or 3 minutes have been played very well by TSM.
And with flash down on that AD carry, TSM can look to posture around the Dragon, because that does make the Caitlyn much more vulnerable to something like that Realm Warp setup or the Kha'Zix plus Galio combo.
Kha'Zix plus Galio is the winner.
All right, Condi and Mystic, they get knocked up by the Wild Ghost. Svenskeren is exhausted once again. Mystic survives. Still hasn't finished that Infinity Edge, but is putting down a lot of hurt onto TSM. Bjergsen gets one with the Rune Prison and the Overload. Finds a double kill. Turns back forward Sheer. Hanser, unfortunately, doesn't connect to the Justice Punch, and 957's running for his life. The Dragon is the focus for TSM.
And that was exactly what they were looking for. They don't get the kill on Mystic, but he's pushed out immediately because he has no summoners. So great job by TSM, capitalizing on that fact, getting a 1 fight, and the Dragon buys them another lease on life.
Yeah, what a great sequence of events. It honestly all started in the bottom lane, then that arrow from Turtle forcing the flash here, and here Mystic, this is just not smart at all. Really nice combination with the Wild Dwarf. Galio isn't even here, but if you can force team fights and you're the one initiating against a 1v1 composition, you generally should be strong. Look at the havoc Bjergsen causes in the left side of that fight.
As that Ryze starts to get stronger and stronger, hitting these item completions, I mean, we've seen a lot of Ryze games carried by Bjergsen. If you think back to even Worlds against RNG, it was like Bjergsen versus the world in some of those games, and nearly managed to carry it.
Well, TSM are going to need another performance like that, because they're still in a very big hole. It's 4,000 gold down, but as we've mentioned a few times already, they played defensively well, they wave cleared well. They've lost that one tower and that one kill in the last few minutes.
Yeah, gold distribution is very important though, and also what it can buy you, gold efficiency. You don't need to be gold for gold if you're playing tank versus carry, as long as you can hold and you don't get to the breaking point of the matchup, right? If somehow this stalling has put Hunter in a position where he can comfortably soak 957's pressure and then use TP or ulti to get to the fight, then suddenly WE has to play 4v4 on the rest of the map, and maybe they can't utilize as much of that gold advantage.
And I think he is comfortable to clear at his own turret, right? But that is why it's so important for WE to knock down these turrets, to create long lanes that Hanser has to walk out into and expose himself in.
See what Haunter can do with the 0-2-1 at the moment. He used that teleport, so advantage to Team WE. And he's going to be trying to match.
Yeah, and every time they split, WE to split to set up their side lanes, TSM just power through as a fist in the mid lane. They're like, you know what, we're not going to let you set up your side lane, we're just going to join clear, 4-man top, 4-man mid, look for group. This is going to make Wild Turtle suffer in CS, but it gives them pick opportunities.
All right, looking at the minimap, 957 recalled. He was sitting in his base with that TP advantage. We mentioned already, I can also see Wild Turtle picks up his red buff. Just to give you a quick update, of the 10 buffs that TSM have got their hands onto thus far, 6 of them were actually secured by Team WE. 10 spawned, 6 stolen away.
And this was just pointed out by Grumpo. Look at all the pink wards that are being picked up by TSM. This is something they do well in the mid game, fighting for vision control, everyone carrying pinks, and Haunter has to cheat up more towards the mid lane to be in range of a Galio ult.
Oh, Ash Arrow.
They may go in.
Nick is able to escape though. Still has the claims and the flash available. 957's teleport has been used, and a big threaded volley chunks down Svenskeren. Seismic shove, hold Haunter in place as Bjergsen playing a threat in the side lane. Chum the Waters still hasn't been fired by 957. Very good round war by Bjergsen.
Yeah, I'm loving the fluidity of how Bjergsen moves in and out of these fights here. The right timing, he moves in to relieve pressure off his team and then trades that with a Realm Warp for an escape here. TP advantage will go towards TSM, and honestly, they've done a fantastic job stopping the bleeding.
There's no room for error though with this deficit and the vision that Team WE are trying to set up around a Baron buff, but look at the ultimates. Team WE have them all available. Unfortunately for them, they don't have the teleport, which Haunter will get shortly.
Yeah, and the big thing here is TSM want to try to play this slowly because they have global advantage. So WE is just starting up the Baron. This could be risky, though. They have the Kha'Zix Galio combo.
Let's see, where is the engagement?
Turtle! Why is Turtle in front of the rest of the team there?
That is a question we've asked TSM many, many times. Svenskeren gets caught by 957's ulti. Heroic entrance, and now Condi's in trouble. Both going low. The junglers are going to kill Svenskeren first. Off to the right of your edge. 957 and Bjergsen are trading back and forth. Haunter flashes for a few seconds longer. Gets shut down by Condi, and WE find 3 kills.
TSM as a team fail at basic mathematics. They see 3 guys in the pit, meaning there's 2 of those missing. They were in the brush that Turtle approached. Guess what? It was the Karma and the Talia. He walks on a knockback, not using flash, not using heal to get out. He drops, and so in that moment, TSM's hopes vanished completely.
I mean, TSM had WE in a good position where they forced down the globals. They can wait it out, slow play it, get Miz in a bot lane, then look for the engage. And you have a Galio to face check this. Why is Turtle just wandering in, walks back into the seismic shove? Down goes Turtle, and probably down goes TSM's hope in this game.
And this is also, it's a lack of being on the same page. Your communication has to be, what do we do? Slow contest, fast contest? Because when you say fast contest, that means somebody else has to be in. So this is probably TSM in the mindset of we have time. But Turtle is not on the same page with his team, so either there's a communication error or an individual misread from Turtle himself. Regardless, TSM is no longer playing as a unit, and it costs them so much.
Yeah, it really does. It's a 7,000 gold lead for Team WE. They've got Baron buff in a 1-3-1 comp. And 957's teleport will become available in the not too distant future. 2/3 of the cooldown already burned away.
Now let's judge this push and pull here from WE. Are they going to commit for the fight and a dive? So many teams do are going to play it slow, methodical.
I think we're just going to look to see them play a 1-4 right now. They have 4 members in bot, shove it up, pick up the free gold on the map, and I think this is the smart and safe way to play the game. Have 957 by himself. No one can contest this guy solo. If you send 2 to match him, dive with the rest of the 4, force on the turret.
Or just keep bouncing between mid and top and eventually use Reaper's Wall, get a 3v0 on a turret somewhere. use that pressure. It's not the highest yielding play, but here we go. First turret under siege.
That's exactly what Bjergsen did earlier in the tournament. Team WE, uncontested, break open the base. Looking at the mini-map, the minion wave is slowly making its way to the bottom turret. Team WE, however, they're looking for the inhib. Chum the Waters is used.
Yeah, major cooldowns have been used. Remember, this is not a team fight composition. A team fight's okay for WE. The true strength still lies in the split matchups.
Well, seismic shove onto Hornser. Bjergsen looking for an opportunity, waiting in the flanks. Keep your eyes on that man. The team solo mid, they're sticking together. They haven't been able to split WE. And the wave is pushing away from WE in the bottom lane. It doesn't matter. They've got the objective that matters. Let's see him.
Yeah, you saw the strength of the composition there, but the lead is just simply too big.
And I think WE have played this out so well from the position that they've been put in. That's an extremely safe, high percentage play with the Baron. They quickly knock down that inhibitor, and they can take the Dragon, reset, spend their gold, and really are at a monumental lead.
And something that WE have done really all game long. You know, every time they push into TSM territory, they're either setting up the vision, stealing the buffs, or in this case, knocking over the objectives. Just great play from the LPL representative.
Yeah, they got caught up by an arrow once. Guess what? They pick up both Mikhail's Crucible and the Quicksilver Sash here. So 2 tools to avoid that. And that definitely makes it a lot harder for TSM to find a crucial pick.
And I think that defensive itemization like this is so smart when you consider the state of the game, the ways that TSM can win.
Yes.
How does TSM win? Well, Haunter gets backline, lands a big taunt, they kill off Mystic. Well, QSS kind of denies that. Oh, how else do you get, well, Ash Arrow, right? Mikhail denies that.
Or you dive and Bjergsen's not here. That's also a way to win.
All right, the Idol of Duran, that's a good block from 957. Takes the Justice Punch to the face, but it's just not enough damage to burn through that tank on Haunter.
I love teams getting used to the new Galio. It's so intuitive to step away when he charges backwards. To start body blocking that dash forward, it's always very satisfying to see.
Yeah, very useful. It allows Team WE to take inner turret top, almost take down this top lane tower as well. Team Solo mid are holding for a few seconds longer.
Got the cannon though.
Yep.
Will fall here.
Yeah, it will eventually. Condi's looking for a target. Tower goes down the back end. Condi gets cut off by his own teammate's Weaver Wall. A little overeager here from Team WE. They're in a 5-on-4 situation, and Ben is a sacrificial lamb. Team Solo mid get 2 kills, but they lose another turret.
Yeah, Condi overreaching there, and then Bjergsen with the Realm Morph Galio combo into the back line. They find a couple kills there, and they buy themselves at least a little bit of time.
And that was the combo we were talking about in Picks and Bans, how TSM could get to the back line, but they're in such a deficit. It may not matter, it may be too late.
Condi, oh, he kicks flash instead of kick flashes. So he basically flashed too late. He was looking to kick somebody into the fight, but he messed up the inputs. Obviously, the reaction play from TSM was really satisfying to watch.
Yeah, really satisfying for Team WE to at least break open the base, right? It's still like a 10,000 gold lead at 30 minutes.
And I mean, 8 turrets to 1. That's really the big
Yes.
story. Is WE has been moving around the map better. They've been playing exceptionally well in this macro game, and they still have the side lane advantage of 957. 2 inhibitor turrets down and 1 inhibitor dead.
Yeah, 8 turrets to 2 now. The inverse G2 turret situation at MSI.
Looking at the mini-map, Team WE got a lot of support coming in. Biofrost is forced to flash. Idol of Duran will buy a few seconds with a Sonic Wave into Biofrost. Condi doesn't pull the trigger yet, has timed out, and Justice Punch once again knocks 957 away. Winds of War slows everybody down. Realm Warp takes most of TSM to safety. Wild Turtle's Enchanted Crystal Arrow is available, and Team WE, they push off TSM.
Yeah, it was actually quite dangerous there. You can flash the damage or Fist Q if you do it in time. So Bifrost almost got re-engaged on by Condi, so that could have been a crucial error. Lucky for him, there was not a follow-up from TWE.
Not a follow-up yet. It does feel like a matter of time. You know, one of the big narratives that we had for Team WE coming in is that they were the Elder Dragon team from
Yes,
LPL.
but we have to clarify.
About a lot.
We have to clarify. They're an Elder Dragon team not because they win by fighting around Elder Dragon. It just happens to be that, according to the LPL casters, that they fight their way back into the game around 35 minutes, which is obviously the Elder Dragon mark. But it is not as relevant to Elder Dragon fight itself.
No, but of course, that's terrifying for TSM to just know that WE get better in the next 4 minutes.
Hey, 4 more minutes.
And they're already in such a great position. WE very comfortable in closing out at these stages of the game.
They definitely are, but I think the game is likely going to come down to this next Baron spawn. I don't think WE will risk another dive into the base here. And the fact that TSM doesn't have a dead bottom inhibitor means that it's much easier to actually defend against these super minions. You can push out mid and respond to Baron. So we'll have to see WE play pretty well around this.
Yeah, they got to play the flying V here. Protect Svenskeren. Launch him into the Baron pit if they're doing it. However, there is top lane present currently by 957.
Teleports available for 957 and Hornsa, but they're on opposite ends of the map. Mystic is starting to back away from this mid lane. Of course, TSM doing a great job shoving the lane out before looking to contest the Baron pits.
And that's great, but I mean, Hanser can't stop 957 by himself in a long fight. So TSM have to move back up and threaten this, but that gives WE the chance to move right under the Baron, and TSM have to react to this now.
Need to get in there. It's 7,000 gold, 6,000, 5,000, dropping fast.
Round Warp will deliver Bjergsen next to Wild Turtle. Ash Arrow catches onto Mystic. Insta QSS. He's managed to back away.
957 coming in the back.
957's got Chum the Waters. It's not going to find his mug. It catches Bjergsen. Bjergsen goes golden thanks to the Hourglass. Svenskeren, the target. Now 957. He's forced to go low. Guardian Angel is available to him if it goes down. Idol of Durand was used by Haunts. Nobody has died yet. She is running away. Threaded Volley goes down. Somehow, Wild Turtle dies in the side. 957. It cost him his GA. The Troll pull to safety. Svenskeren tastes his fear. 1 for 1. Top laner for ADC.
Very important counter kill there for TSM. Turtle stepping a little bit too forward and not using his heal again goes down for TSM, but a very close fight, and TSM does hang on.
Yeah, they make the right map moves, WE. They do not have any pressure in the bottom side of the map, allowing TSM to play in between the two crucial remaining lanes. And you don't want to burn that Asher down, so Svenskeren can always hop in, go for a Q smite. 50-50 is not what WE were looking for. So their error in their ways was in the setup. Watch this again, how easy it is for TSM to approach here. Keep your eyes on Bjergsen as well. So much pressure.
And it's also so key to actually get that QSS down on Mystic from the Ash Arrow, so it was a good job to hit that from Turtle. But when Galio comes in, he's able to get such a big taunt because that QSS isn't available, and Ben got caught, so he could not KO his teammates.
Definitely so. And here, Turtle steps forward. On. This is a TSM Dasher started. Top lane has teleport. Mystic is quite far off. This may be a very tricky situation. Bjergsen also low on mana.
957 on the side.
Already peeled away. 957 teleported in the Weaver's wall, slowing down TSM's escape. And Bjergsen is down on mana. But it looks like TSM have been able to regroup towards the top. The problem is they're being surrounded.
Yeah, WE has corralled them. They're going to look for a game-winning fight here. TSM needs to try to hang on.
But TSM is strong in numbers. I think it's much more important that they need to get back to their base, because this now leaves the bottom or the mid lane inhib open. Somebody should cancel their backs though.
2 inhibitors exposed. Team WE decide not to interrupt TSM. They're playing a little bit nervous with this as well.
A lot of hesitation back and forth. WE does not stop the base. A 957 backs off the inhibitor, and both teams kind of flub on the play.
Oh, Svenskeren is pinged out. They know he's in this brush. 8 seconds to base here. Redemption to cancel. Fantastic.
Oh my word, Svenskeren is now going to be the target of Team WE. Sends out the Void Missiles and leaps away to safety. Flashes on cooldown so Sven can't use it.
She is rock surfing with the passive here. Very important to catch him. Svenskeren was looking for a cheeky play, but the Redemption hero play.
Heroic entrance is actually going to send Hornsa into the wrong side of the map. Now he's behind 5 members of Team WE. Gets a 4-man taunt. Bjergsen's on the flank, looking for Condi. Hornsa's running for his life. Biofoss is
Turtle can't enter the fight.
Team Solo Mid tried to engage, but they're losing their members' HP left and right. A killing spree for Xie as Hornsa goes down. Wild Turtle's a target for 957. He's going to hop forward, looking for this Urchin strike. Uses the minions, attacks him. Wild Turtle manages to escape.
Yeah, Xie with an MVP performance in that fight. The way he peeled for his backline as Galio hit that multi-man taunt. Svenskeren is still dead right now. I love the way Xie controlled that fight. Bjergsen could never get in, even on the flank, because Mystic was holding him there.
Such an incredible job by Ben stopping that base. And this is likely going to be a WE Baron.
Can they get more? Bjergsen's actually on the sideline. He's got a flash available to 957 jumps in. Bjergsen uses his hourglass. Weaver's wall looking to cut off Wild Turtle, in fact. No, he's jumped off to catch Biofrost. I'm looking at the minimap, and Biofrost survives a few seconds longer. Here comes Wild Turtle with the help of the Blaster.
Yeah, but this could very well be the game. Bjergsen died, 45 seconds remain in a 4v5 with Mystic spearheading the push.
Yeah, they had no jungler, no reason to contest that, and now without their mid laner, WE is looking to end and get their revenge on TSM.
It's a 35-second cooldown before Bjergsen is alive. Inhibitor number 1 in the middle lane is knocked over. Team WE playing this by the numbers. They're grouping up towards the top. 957 left to usher those minions towards the Nexus turrets.
20 seconds remain on Bjergsen. Keep your eyes on Hanser. He needs to land a big taunt.
Heroic entrance is still available, and Realm Warp is 2, so if Team WE do not get out clean, which they will, 2 inhibitors, once again, regain absolute control.
Yeah, WE constantly looking for the high percentage plays here, not risking and not getting sucked into the drama. They now have Baron buff remaining for 2.5 minutes, and they only have 2 pushing lanes. I like the push and pull. So Svensson, the reason he stayed is that when these things happen, when people get pushed out of their base and then you have the enemy team running into your base, they generally turn around while they're in your jungle and then rush to Nashor. If you base and then have to run to Nashor yourself, you're going to be late. So you're operating under the assumption that there's no topside vision. That's why Svensson wasn't here. But obviously if he's caught out, this fight happened with such a stellar performance by Xie.
Yeah, so well positioned too, over the blue wall there, sitting in that buff pit, zoning Turtle and Biofrost out the entire time. And you know if you keep Turtle out of the fight, TSM just doesn't have the damage to actually punch through the rest of the team.
That allows Team WE to push forward into the base, knock over those inhibitors as well. Team Solo made it, what was a 3v5. Opted to not really challenge Baron, stick around too long, and now Team WE, they're barreling down this bottom lane. Weaver's wall to cut off any sort of defense, and the tower's knocked over.
And you have to feel like TSM needs to engage right now, and WE knows it. We'll see if they can actually absorb this and get out.
Realm Warp is going to deliver Haunter into the back line. He gets an idol of Duran Torn. Condi gets interrupted by the Wild Growth. That was a good job by Biofrost. A heroic exit from Haunter. Bjergsen's still sitting on the side, but Haunter's already down. Svenskeren forced to flash defensively. Wild Turtle, the damage is dead. So is Bjergsen. The captain goes down quickly after. Team Solo Mid are routed in their base, and the LPLs, Team WE, take down the Nexus turrets, turn their attention to the Nexus, and they gain revenge, defeating Team Solo Mid.
And what a game from WE. They look so strong here despite falling down in the early game, always playing to their win conditions. Xie was so big on Taliyah, not only the team fight zoning, the use of the Weaver's Wall to secure turrets, and this was just a great, safe, and high percentage macro game from WE.
Yeah, they never went for the 0-5-0 plays. They were always either playing 4-1 or 1-3-1 until they had a massive advantage accrued or an objective to force with the Weaver's Wall here. Definitely a lesson in split push dynamics from Team WE.
And this was the Team WE performance that we were expecting to see. It's the second round robin that has just kicked off. Team Solo Mid now find themselves in a position where they have 2 wins and 4 losses with only 4 games remaining.
And you have to feel like that game hinged on the one club team fight by Baron. TSM had teleport advantage, the global ultimate from Galio. If they were able to slow play that Baron, reset the map, they can look for an engage in a 5v4 play. That could have given them the edge, but Turtle stepping too far forward, gets picks off and cost TSM big.
Or his team not being there with him. You know, obviously he's the one that gets caught, but the language, we never know. Did they call out a slow contest, fast contest? What was the call? Like, they're doing it. If that's your call, you're going to suffer, right? Because then everybody has to make up their mind individually. Fantastic job by WE as well, hiding 2 members in the brush instead of the usual one that was going to field.
And Wild Turtle, of course, was walking towards Bjergsen as well, who had a stellar performance playing those side lanes. So, Team WE, they go 50% win rate in the group stage.
Just like
1-1. 1-1 on the day. They lose to Marines, take down TSM. TSM, on the other hand, they take down G2. They lose to Team WE. This bottom 5 rather, is getting very, very exciting as we go into the last 2 days of group stage play, Azale.
It really is, and TSM really doesn't have any more games to give. You have to assume you're looking for 5 wins. You're now at 2-4. You're probably going to lose to SKT. That means you need to run the rest of the table, right? You need to beat Flash Wolves, Gigabyte, and G2 again, probably to be safe for top 4.
Thank you very much. Now, with the loss of Nexus in pieces, it's time for Dash's desk to tell us more about the WE